Welcome to episode number 303, where I'm helping you prepare for the upcoming transition of the seasons, which can affect our digestive fire, which in turn can affect our immunity, resulting in seasonal sickness. So please stay tuned as I give you lots of tips and information on how to prepare for this transition. Hi there, I'm your host Colette, and on this podcast I will be sharing the teachings of Ayurveda, yoga, and holistic health practices. Now, if you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend checking out the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda and the mind-body types. Thanks for listening, and now here's a new episode. Hi there, it's Colette for a solo episode, and in this episode I want to focus on how seasonal changes can affect the doshas, and this is particularly relevant right now as we have a seasonal change happening with the equinox on September 23rd. However, Mother Nature has her own timing, so the changes in seasonal weather can vary, of course. And I also have a competition to win a free entry into my upcoming seasonal cleanse starting October 6th. So please stay tuned for more details on that. So I'm going to start this episode with a short overview to make sure that we're all on the same page. So Ayurveda teaches us that we are a part of nature. We're made up of the same 5 elements as everything in the natural world. The Pancha Mahabhutas, or the 5 elements of nature, are space, air, fire, water, and earth. These 5 elements form the doshas of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata is comprised of the space and air elements and is the energy of action, movement, and transportation in the body. Pitta is comprised of the fire and water elements and is the energy of transformation, conversion, and digestion. And Kapha is comprised of the water and earth elements and is the energy of construction, lubrication, and nourishment. Now, these doshas are the energies governing all the functions of our body and mind. They govern all of the physical and mental processes. We each have a unique ratio of these 3 doshas in our body, which determines our individual constitution, our unique blueprint. Understanding our birth constitution, which is determined at conception and does not change throughout our lives, helps us to understand our physical, mental, and emotional tendencies in life. However, the doshas do not remain in a static state, as these energies are affected by everything in our life. They're affected by our age, diet, lifestyle, stress, climate. So many things affect these energies, and changes can result in an increase or a decrease of the doshas. And when the Vata dosha is in balance, it promotes creativity, flow, and connection. However, out of balance, Vata produces fear, anxiety, and abnormal movement in the body and the mind. Pitta imbalance promotes understanding and intelligence. However, an out of balance Pitta creates anger, jealousy, and inflammatory conditions. Kapha imbalance exudes love, compassion, and calmness. However, out of balance, Kapha creates possessiveness, attachment, greed, and congestive disorders. When we have the awareness of the subtle signs of imbalance of the doshas in our body and mind, we can catch these imbalances in the early stages before it manifests into anything serious. I discussed in detail the 6 stages of disease according to Ayurveda in episode number 64. And I really recommend checking out that episode if you're not familiar with it. This is amazing information from Ayurveda on how disease manifests in the body. But in summary, the stages are stage 1, Sanchaya, which is the accumulation stage. Stage 2, Prakopa, which is the aggravation stage. Stage 3, Prasara, which is the spread or circulation stage.
Stage 4 is Janya Shamshraya, which is the localization or deposition stage. Stage 5, Vyakti, which is the manifestation stage. And stage 6 is Beta, the differentiation or change stage. Now, in the first stage of disease, Sanchaya, there's an increase of the dosha or doshas in its home or in the dosha's seat in the body. So, for example, excess vata will accumulate in the large intestine, the colon, and this may appear in this stage as distension of the abdomen, excessive gas, and constipation. Excess pitta will accumulate in the digestive tract and in particular in the small intestine. And in stage 1, this may present as excess heat or acid in the body, excess hunger, loose stool, and heated emotions. An excess kapha will accumulate in the chest and stomach, and this may present as agni manda, low appetite, heaviness after eating, sluggish digestion, lethargy, and congestion. Now, catching these subtle imbalances in the first stage of Sanchaya accumulation is ideal, as we can easily rectify this imbalance by applying the opposite gunas or qualities of the doshas that are aggravated, making changes in our diet, in our lifestyle, in our self-care practices, etc. This is the Ayurvedic healing principle of like increases like and opposites pacify, which I've talked about a lot on this podcast. But if you're not familiar with the gunas or these qualities and the principle of opposites, I discussed it in detail in episode number 158 titled Focus on the Gunas, Not the Doshas. Now, this first stage of accumulation will happen frequently throughout the year as it's life. Our doshas will fluctuate, as I said, with age, season, food, lifestyle, stress, the weather fluctuations, and it's not possible to maintain complete balance and stay in a static state of balance. So we need to be very aware of the subtle signals of this first stage of disease, which is sanchaya or accumulation of the doshas in their seat. Now, if the dosha or doshas are not pacified in stage 1, they will continue to increase or accumulate, and then they begin to aggravate their seat even further. So, for example, vata aggravation may manifest in stage 2, prakopa, as pain in the lower back, abnormal movements in the body. Example, excessive movement of food through the stomach and intestines, resulting in gurgling, burping, excessive gas and bloating. There may be breathing problems or even unable to take a deep breath because feeling constriction. Pitta aggravation in stage 2 may manifest as excess acid, indigestion, acid reflux, heartburn, and nausea. And kapha aggravation in stage 2 may manifest as sluggishness, heaviness, excess mucus, congestion, and cough. Now, in this second stage of disease, prakopa, it's still possible to reverse these imbalances if we're tuned into our body. If we understand the subtle signs of imbalance for our unique constitution, we will understand what we need to bring in that the opposite qualities into our diet, lifestyle, self-care, mindfulness, etc., to restore balance. However, once the imbalance goes beyond stage 2 of aggravation and it starts spreading in stage 3, prasara, which is the spread and circulation, then it's more challenging to bring it back. And this is where you need professional advice, because the doshas move out of their seat in stage 3. And that can result in vata could move into secondary sites like the skin, the ears, bones, thighs, and lead to dry, rough skin, ringing in the ears, tingling and numbness in the body. Pitta moves into its secondary sites of the stomach, the eyes, the skin, and can lead to acidic stomach, heartburn, acid reflux, burning eyes, and redness around the eyes, rashes and skin irritations. And kapha can move into the lungs, the sinuses, and lymphatic system, and may lead to congestion in the lungs, the sinuses, and the lymph becoming stagnant, excess saliva, water retention, and heaviness in the body. The excess movement in stage 3 can mean that the Vata dosha is involved, as Vata is necessary for all movement in the body, including the movement of the other doshas, Pitta and Kapha. Therefore, we could consider that Vata may be pushing Pitta and Kapha in this stage. It's like the reins have come off at this stage and there's less control. And this is why I say you may need professional guidance.
I'm going to jump in here to tell you some very exciting news. I'm finally hosting a Ayurveda rejuvenation retreat in Bali with Dr. Sujata from Amrita Siddhi Ayurvedic Clinic. That's where I worked from 2014 to 2015. And finally, after all these years of talking about it, we're going to do a retreat together. The dates are December 4th to 10th, 2023. It's an all-inclusive retreat. You'll get consultations, Ayurvedic medicines, treatments, Ayurvedic food, and you'll be in this beautiful healing cocoon of Amrita Siddhi Ayurvedic Clinic. You can check out the video and all the details on my website, elementshealingandwellbeing.com. Just click on the link in the show notes or visit my website and click on the events tab. And I hope to see you in Bali in December.
Now, in this episode, I want to help you understand how to prevent your imbalance from going beyond stage 1 or stage 2, because we know stage 1, aggravation, and stage 2, accumulation, may happen regularly. And my objective with my clients is to educate them on how to recognize their subtle signs of imbalance and how to alleviate those symptoms, pacify the doshas, and bring the body back into balance before the disease progresses into stage 2 or definitely into stage 3. And we really need to pay particular attention during the upcoming transition of the seasons, as this is when an imbalance can easily happen in the body, resulting in an aggravation of the doshas and possible seasonal sickness. So why does this happen during seasonal transition? Well, there's a natural accumulation of a dosha during its season. So during Vata season, when the weather is cool, dry, and windy, the Vata dosha in our body will increase due to the influence of the Vata qualities in our environment. During Pitta season, when the weather is hot and intense, the Pitta dosha will increase in our body. And during the Kapha season, when the weather is wet and the earth is heavy with rain or melting snow, the Kapha dosha will increase. However, the weather does not follow our calendar, and so we need to be aware of how the weather is affecting our doshas. And just like each of us has a different ratio of the 3 doshas, which make up our unique constitution, so have the seasons. Depending on where we live on the planet, our seasons may have a mix of the doshas. So keep that in mind as we talk about how the seasons affect our constitution. How this increase in the dosha or doshas during seasonal change affects you depends on your constitution. If the qualities or gunas of the season are opposite of the qualities of your constitution, then the opposite qualities are pacifying for you. So happy days, you'll be feeling great. So for example, Vata can be pacified in a hot, humid climate, as these qualities are the opposite of Vata's cold and dry constitution. So Vata loves a tropical climate. Pitta can be pacified in a cool, dry climate, as is the opposite of Pitta's hot and liquid qualities. And Kapha can be pacified in a warm, dry climate, as is the opposite of Kapha's cool and moist qualities. However, if the qualities of the season are like the qualities of your constitution, then you're going to have that like increasing like happening, and this can result in an accumulation or aggravation of the doshas. Our digestive fire may also be affected, and Ayurveda teaches us that the health of our digestive fire is paramount to our overall health. However, during the transition of the seasons, we may experience one of the following imbalances of our digestive fire. So agni tikshna, a sharp or intense digestive fire which can produce excess hunger. In fact, you may have a hard time keeping your appetite satisfied, and there may be a loss of tissues and strength and possible exhaustion. It can also result in loose stools or diarrhea, with the body trying to eliminate excess heat. Agni vishma, a variable appetite and a variable digestive fire. This can result in excess gas, bloating, cramping, and heaviness after eating. Also, you may experience variable bowel movements from dry stool or constipation to loose stool or diarrhea with gas and bloating. And then there's agni manda, slow digestion, where you may have little to no appetite. And digesting even the smallest amount of food can be very challenging. Digestion is slow, resulting in excess fat tissue and sluggishness in the bowel movements. So in order to help the body through this transition of the seasons, it's really important to eliminate this natural accumulation of doshas at the end of each season. And if we do not manage this accumulation of the dosha or doshas, it will not only cause that dosha to aggravate, but it can also result in aggravation of the dosha of the coming season. So for example, an accumulation of heat at the end of the hot season, which naturally happens in the body, will aggravate pitta. And as we move into the vata season, that excess heat, if it's not taken care of, if it's not eliminated, that excess heat will aggravate the vata dosha, resulting in excess dryness and lightness in the body. So it's important not to ignore this accumulation of the doshas. Also, when the digestive fire or agni is not functioning normally, this can result in undigested food, which is called ama, or toxins in Ayurveda. This ama is a toxic, sticky, white putrid smelling substance, which we can actually see in our tongue in the morning. And how do we know if we have ama in our body? Well, I do have a free quiz on the homepage of my website, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes. So that can it'll ask you some quick questions and you can find out. But there are some general signs and symptoms of ama in the body, and they are a lack of appetite, delayed digestion, lethargy or feeling heavy in the body and mind, excess saliva, sluggish bowel movements, distaste or aversion to food, cloudy white phlegm, sticky mucus, congestion, and maybe swelling in the body. Ayurveda recommends a reset of the digestive fire when there's an accumulation of ama in the body, and during the transition of the seasons to help eliminate the ama and any dosha accumulation as well. It's very important that a digestive reset cleanse is tailored to your particular needs, as Ayurveda teaches us that we should eat according to the status of our digestive fire, our agni. So a seasonal reset program needs to be tailored to each individual's current agni status, with the goal to reset the digestive fire and bring it to a place where it's functioning normally and digesting any accumulation of ama, and to make sure that that digestive fire is working efficiently as the weather shifts from one season to the next, preventing imbalances in the body, keeping our immunity strong, and preventing seasonal sickness. So I'm going to give you some tips now to how to tailor your foods to a particular digestive fire. So for a strong digestive fire or agni tikshna, this digestive fire will require regular meals and possible snacks of dense, grounding foods that contain cooling qualities. Introducing the sweet, bitter, astringent taste with less of the sharp, intense taste to pacify the pitta dosha. Of course, we will need to manage lifestyle and stress with cooling, calming practices as well. A variable digestive fire or agni vishma will require a routine of regular meals with nourishing, rejuvenating foods that are calming with good quality fats and warming spices to aid digestion. introducing this sweet, sour, and salty taste to pacify the Vata dosha, and bringing in calming, grounding self-care practices will help to calm the agni, the digestive system, and the nervous system also. Now, if there's a slow digestive fire or agni manda, this will require less food, and food that's lighter and easier to digest with digestive spices to stimulate the digestive fire, using less fat here, and food that's full of fiber to stimulate movement along the gastrointestinal tract, because that there can be that sluggishness in the system, bringing in bitter, astringent and pungent taste to pacify the kapha dosha. And it's important here to bring in stimulating activities like active yoga or active pranayama. Now, if an individual with a sharp or variable agni underwent a fasting protocol, this could aggravate the agni and the doshas even further. So it's really important to understand your constitution, your subtle signs of imbalance, and that the protocol is tailored to you and your current health status, and in particular that it's tailored to the current status of your agni or digestive fire. Now, if you want to know more about my Digestive Reset Cleanse process, check out episode number 244, where I explain in detail about my reset process. And I know that this information can be overwhelming, but to weed out all of the unnecessary information and to prevent hours spent researching, I do recommend having a consultation with an Ayurvedic professional who will hopefully educate you on your unique constitution, on your subtle signs of imbalance, and what your body and mind needs in regards to preventing imbalances, and put a plan in place for you for your diet, lifestyle, self-care, and mindfulness practices, etc. Now, if you need support on your Ayurveda journey, please check out my online services. The first thing I want to talk about is my upcoming seasonal cleanse. It's a Digestive Reset Cleanse to help you reset your digestive fire and eliminate any accumulation of ama or toxins from the body if necessary, and to help you transition through the season without any seasonal sickness. The next group cleanse is October 6th. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm running a competition now. I'm celebrating the 6th anniversary of this podcast that happened on August 17th. And I'm running a competition so that you could win a free entry into the upcoming group cleanse starting October 6th. And the competition runs until August 31st. So make sure you get your entry in, and you can find that link in the show notes, or just visit my website, elementshealingandwellbeing.com, and go to the events tab to enter the competition before August 31st. And I will announce the winner on September 1st, which will give you plenty of time to book your 90-minute consultation with me before the cleanse starts on October 6th. Okay, good luck to everybody. And of course, if that group date of October 6th doesn't work for your schedule, you can choose a private cleanse. It's the same structure. It just means that you get to choose the dates that are preferable for your schedule, and you get me one-on-one for support. That information will be in the show notes also, along with my online consultations. And finally, I offer my educational program, Daily Habits for Holistic Health. This is really ideal for those people who want to just study by themselves. It's a 28-day self-paced online program. So lots of online services there. And if you have any questions before you book, please take advantage of my free 15-minute online Services Enquiry Call, where we can hop on Zoom and I can answer all of your questions. So I hope this episode today on seasonal cleansing was helpful. The main thing is to be aware that your body, in particular your digestive fire, will be affected during the transition of the seasons. And this is where there can be a lot of seasonal sickness, that you're treating your digestive system with care. Stick to easy digestible foods, warm foods, having nourishing drinks. Make sure you're staying well hydrated to help boost your immune system. And again, if you want support, please contact me. And if you really want to transition through the season with ease, well, then come join our seasonal cleanse. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you think that this episode will be helpful to family or friends, please share it with them so we can spread this wisdom of Ayurveda. If you haven't already downloaded or followed the podcast, please do so, and the new episodes will automatically download for you. And if you find this podcast helpful and you're getting benefit from it, I would really appreciate if you would leave me a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. That would really help others to find the podcast as well. You can find me on Facebook under Elements Healing and Wellbeing, and on Instagram, my new page is Elements of Ayurveda Podcast. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, take good care of yourself, be well, and bye for now. Slán go fóill.